Reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard that John had been arrested, he withdrew to Galilee. He left Nazareth and went to live in Capernaum by the sea, in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, that what had been said through Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled. Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, the way to the sea, beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who sit in darkness have seen a great light. On those dwelling in a land overshadowed by death, light has arisen. From that time on, Jesus began to preach and say, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." As he was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, casting a net into the sea. They were fishermen. He said to them, "Come after me, and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. He walked along from there and saw two other brothers, James the son of Zebedee and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets. He called them, and immediately they left their boat and their father and followed him. He went around all of Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness among the peoples. The gospel of the Lord. So yesterday evening, a man from our parish was fully initiated into the church, Dean Winslow. And about 10 minutes before Mass began, the power went out. Some of you may have experienced that yourself. And as the sun was going down, it was getting a little worrisome. What was that experience going to be like from darkness to light? Thank God I didn't have the Mass. I didn't really have to worry about it, finding flashlights in the maintenance office. So they fumbled their way through it, but I came in around communion time just to make sure things were okay, because it was getting dark outside, and a lot of folks at that Mass. I was worried about them getting in and out of the pews and stuff. And so I grab a flashlight and I come up here by this pillar. And as soon as the distribution of communion began, the lights came on. I thought, that's pretty awesome. What a great sign for that man and his initiation into the church, that the light truly shines in the darkness. Jesus is the light come to us. Just a great symbol, so it's nice. I'm glad we have power this morning, though. The regions of Zebulun and Naphtali and Galilee were areas that had been hit very hard by oppressive forces for hundreds of years before Jesus came to preach there. Part of the northern kingdom of Israel had been split off from the more faithful southern kingdom, and it had been pillaged by the Assyrians. And the people were humiliated by having been taken into exile. It was then captured by many other groups, occupied by the Greeks, and is now under Roman control like the rest of Israel when Jesus comes to preach there. It's a very symbolic sign that he's going to the most broken, the most beat down, the most oppressed groups of people by beginning his ministry in Galilee. For a nation that believed itself to be favored by God, it was truly a dark time for these people. Yet the prophet Isaiah had proclaimed that a light would come to that region. And I've got to believe that the inhabitants of that area must have kept that passage from Isaiah in mind as they went about their lives. They must have looked forward to the day when a light would dawn on them, when they would yet again have control of the land and freedom from oppressive regimes. Certainly there were some who just went about their lives and didn't look for anything better. They just preoccupied themselves with what they knew. But there were some who looked for the light, trusting in the promise that God had made to his people. I believe this because of the response of the disciples to the call of Jesus to follow him. Much of the strife that they had experienced was, as a people, was due to their lack of fidelity to God, and they were kind of self-inflicted wounds. But they're looking for a way out, and they latch on to this promise of hope and well-being, dropping what they're doing as Jesus offers them the opportunity for something more than what they know. Jesus offers them nothing but healing from their own sins and the sins of their ancestors. So they weren't just fumbling around in the dark, trying to go about their business without knowing where they are or what they're doing. They waited expectantly for the light to come, for freedom, empowerment to live in the glory that was always offered to the people of Israel by God alone. In a general way, I think this is the point for us today, that we be watchful for the coming of the light of God into our lives, to open up for us the meaning of what we do and how we live. It is possible that we live our lives hunched over, squinting to see in the dark, without looking up to see the light that God is offering. But in a more specific way, I think today this message can be applied to an area of life that is desperately in need of the light that comes from God. Today is the anniversary of the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision legalizing abortion in the United States. And as well, yesterday, millions of women and men marched in cities across the United States in support of women's rights. A march in which many of the positive principles were lost amid the battle of aligning itself with a particularly pro-choice mentality, but also, in many cases, a response to hate with hate. This is an area where many people are fumbling around in the darkness. And it's not just the issue of abortion. I think that's merely the most loudly controversial issue in the broader context of human sexuality, a region of life that has been bombarded by attacks over the years. And intentionally or inadvertently, women have borne the brunt of the violence in this regard. But we would all be fumbling around in the dark, deceiving ourselves if we did not admit that in some way, directly or indirectly, we have been wounded by a world confused by the meaning of human sexuality. We're all in need of a light in the darkness, the healing invitation of Jesus to follow him. Earlier this week, I had jokingly told someone that I was going to preach an ABC homily this weekend. Some of you may remember what that is. Abortion, birth control, and communism. The timing's right, after all. I mean, today's January 22nd. It's a Sunday. But the thought struck me to the core. Those of you who've actually heard of something of the like know that most often a homily like that only causes a deepening of the wounds of human sexuality. Jesus offers a healing invitation, a light in the darkness. So as I started preparing for what I wanted to say, parents, you can thank me for this, I wanted to avoid the likelihood of you being asked questions that you weren't prepared for. Because of that, I found myself rehearsing a homily full of inadvertent innuendos and vague references to mature topics. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm inviting you to look up from the darkness that we've all experienced in our lives, the confusion that plagues our world in this particular area, and to look to Jesus to shed some light. If you yourself have experienced the effects of an abortion or contributed to one in any way, and have yet to seek forgiveness, mercy, or healing, please call Father Bob or I. As well as sacramental healing, we can also point you to people who can help with full restoration of who you are. If you struggle with the use of pornography, freedom can be found. We can help with that too. I also invite couples who are married or anyone who may marry one day to explore the use of natural family planning as opposed to artificial contraception. As contraception has become so widely accepted, this is an area that deceptively causes much pain and division in relationships between men and women. And for all of you, I invite you to look into the theology of the body, offered to us by Pope St. John Paul II. It is surely a light in the darkness, in helping to understand who we are and how we relate to one another as men and women. As well, if anyone is struggling with an experience of same-sex attraction, there are resources for that as well. And I've put links to all of these different topics in a section on the website. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out yet. It's actually happening right now. But there are links to all of these things. So I've given you a short homily that shouldn't have made you squirm too bad, but it comes with this plea, that you listen to the voice of Jesus call you today out of the darkness. He says to you, follow me. Go to our parish website and find out more. As well, there are resources on the website formed.org that may contribute to your understanding of marriage and human sexuality as well. Seek the light. As kind of a side note, think about the fact that with all these issues, we're generally pretty uncomfortable talking about them. And this is a particular area where shame often wins out over guilt. Guilt is a good thing. It reminds us that we've done something wrong. But shame is from the enemy, and it tells us that we're alone in this struggle. And that's not the truth. We're all in this together in one way, shape, or form. We've all experienced the death, the darkness that comes to us in this area. So look to the light, check out our website, and explore some resources that can help you to follow Jesus in this particular way.